Hello fashion lovers, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today this is the continuation of the pattern that I drafted some days ago. I'll go ahead and give it a notch. The places, the areas that I'll be adding my darts, and as you can see I already notched the front part of it. The front part, and the one I'm holding now is the bustier, and I notched the middle of it, and then so this the same thing on the main body part, as you can see. And I also gave allowance on that area for the bustier side. I also gave allowance, and there's no allowance in the middle. So now we'll just move over to the sewing. So right now I'm going to go ahead and remove all these pins. So right here I'm going to run a stitch on these two areas. I'll just run a straight stitch on both areas. As you can see, I've done that already, and then I'm going to turn it up, and then I'll run a normal stitch. I'll loosen the tension of my machine, and I'll go ahead and run a normal straight sewing all around the areas that is still open. So that's just what I'm going to do for the both sides. So in case you do not understand this part, there is a video on this ruffles on my page, so I'll just drop the link on my description button, so you can just click on it and then it takes you to the video. So the next thing we're going to do now, I've gone ahead to do I'm done with my ruffles, and this is how it is now. The next thing I'm going to do is to fold the upper part of my bustier. I'm going to turn it up with this material. Like, I'll be turning from the back to the front. So I already know the place I want to use as my back and the place I want to use as my front. I'll first of all sew the first stitch. I'll run a first stitch from the back, and then I'll fold it towards the front side and then stitch on top of it on the front. So on this upper part, I'm not going to do any ruffles, just straight, you understand. And I already have my rope turned around. My rope is about 22 inches for 22 inches, and then the width, you can just go ahead and make your width by 2.5. Then when you turn it, it will just be 1 and something. It's just a very tiny rope that you pass in. You pass it with your safety pin. So the same thing I did here. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch it to the edge. After passing it in, I'll stitch it to the other edge. So now you can see I can just pull on it and everything will still go on together. I'll have a ruffle there when I pull on it. So there are so many different ways of attaching this rope, but I prefer using this one because you can just adjust it to your size. So I also went ahead to do the same thing for the other side, and then moving over to the main body, I'll run a dart on both the main fabric and the lining. I'm actually using my fabric to improvise for lining, so please do pay attention here. It's a bit tricky. I've gone ahead to do my dart on both lining and the main fabric that I'm using. So from the upper part, you're going to leave 1/2 inches, and then after the 1/2 inches, you're not going to do any ruffle. You're going to just sew it straight, and then sew it straight like 2 inches, and then you start doing your ruffles. You start sewing on the ruffles. As you can see, the other edge, there is no ruffles there. Then it's only at the down part that there is ruffles, so it's a bit tricky here. You have to pay attention. The same thing I'll do for the other side. I'll have to start sewing and then leave 1/2 inches on the other side, and also not sew on the 2 inches, or maybe you can still do 3 inches if you want, depending on what you want. So guys, this is the first part. I'm going to go ahead and then attach the second part to this. So I'm working on the main side actually, because this is the main body part, this is the main front. So to attach this second one now, I'll have to put it close to the other side, the other one, very close to the other one, if not on top of it. like very close, so that there will be no demarcation, you understand. You can see the way it is now, the way it turned out. It's very close, there's no demarcation in between the both of them. So That's what I'm saying. If you want to tie it together, you're free to tie it, you're free to style it anyhow you want to style it. So we'll be covering it up with our lining. So now I'm bringing my lining, I'm using this one as lining, so I'll have to turn it up. So I just have to turn it up and also sew on the sides of the fabric, on the both sides. I'll just turn it up and also sew on the both sides of the fabric. So this is what I have here. It's giving both the inside and outside. It's just giving. I've already did the sides of the upper part of the fabric. So now moving over to the back, I'm going to run a stitch like that on both the lining and the fabric, and then I'll turn every other thing up as we normally do. So this is the back. So the next thing is to hold the two fabrics together, because but before then I'm going to go ahead and then attach my sleeve to this. So I've gone ahead to cut my sleeve. The length is 16.5 inches, while the width, the length is 13.5, I'm sorry, while the width is 16.5 inches. And then for my sleeve, it's on fold actually, so it's total of 4 inches, like it's on fold, so it's total of 4 like this now. So I'm going to use the back of my fabric, the back, to get the actual measurement for that sleeve. I used my back, but before then I had to go and hem the down part of the two, both the up and the down. So this is me cutting out some part, the area that I'll be joining to the back and the front also. So after doing this, now the next thing I'm going to do is to use my elastic to pass my elastic to the front, to the upper part and to the down part. The one at the upper part should be bigger than the one at your elbow, because it's not a long sleeve, it's a short sleeve, so it's going to stop at the elbow. So 10 inches is for the one at the upper part, 10 inches, I'm using 10 inches for the one that is going to be on my shoulder. So I'll be cutting out two, one for one sleeve and one for one sleeve, and then the one on my elbow, I'll be using 8 inches for my elbow. So depending on your elbow measurement, you're going to measure your hand, and then you know the amount, the measurement to use you get, so it will not be so tight. So now I'm going to use my safety pin and then pass it all through and also stitch on it. So basically I'm doing this for both the upper part and the down part of this sleeve. So I'm done with my sleeve. The next thing, I'm going to just attach it to my dress. I'm going to, one part of the sleeve to the back and the other part to the front. Same thing goes for the other side of the outfit. So guys, this is it here. I'm just going to go ahead and now stitch it with my measurement, hold it all together with my measurement, but the sleeve does not have any measurement though. So I'm just going to run a straight sewing from that sleeve then to the armpit, and from that armpit I'll now start sewing with my measurement. I actually added just 1.5 inches, so I'll basically be removing maybe like 1.5, that's the 1.5 or 1 inches. So but I'll still check my measurement with it. So this is the final part. This is the outcome of the upper part of our fabric. You can just wear it as off shoulder if you want. You can wear it as with your shoulder, so it depends on what you want, and you can style the rope the way you want it. So this is the down part of my clothes, the skirt that I cut earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out the place that I'll be sewing on. So from the top I'll stop at 16 inches. I'll stop at 16 inches from the top. I'm sewing from the top down to just half inches from the top, then I'll stop at 16 inches, and then go ahead and fold the down part that is remaining, the other slit that is remaining. I have to fold it. So this is the back. For the back, I'm going to sew down from, I'll measure 9 inches down for my zip. So I'm sewing from 9 inches down, then I'll have to hold the other places with a pin, then I have to join it together with my measurement, with my body measurement. So please do mind you that when you're joining, you're just going to join from your waist with your measurement, your hip, a bit with your measurements, and then the down part is going to be a line. You're going to make it free. It's not tight, it's not going to be straight either. So I'm done doing mine now, and this is it. I also went ahead to hem the down part of it all round, and this is what I have. So if your own is not like this, the down part should be free, it should not be straight. So if your own is not like this, then you made a mistake, and I think you should redo it. So to join the upper parts and the down parts of this dress, I have to lose all the edges that I've joined already with 1 inches. I just have to lose it a bit so that I can join it and then restitch it again. So that place that we notched earlier when we were cutting our skirt, the place we notched earlier, the middle point of it, that's where you are going to join the middle point of your upper part. So you're just going to join them both middle together, you get, and then also join the back, hold the back from the zip side down to the other side. So I'm just going to run a stitch on all of them. I'm just going to run a stitch on all of the places, and then this is what I have. After running the stitch, please do not forget to close it up. Do not forget to close it up. You can see I've already closed mine up, and the only part that is still open in this dress now is just my zip allowance area, which I'll be just adding my zip to this place, and then we'll be done. So guys, as you can see, I'm done with the dress already. You can wear it as a sleeve, on your shoulder as a sleeve, make it a sleeve, and then you can still wear it as off shoulder if you want. You can open up your cleavage and then tie the rope around your neck at the back. You can still tie it there, like to close up your bust if you want. Anyhow you want to style it, the dress is very fine. I'm really in love with it. So you too, tell me how you feel about this dress. If you have any question or anything confusing you, you can just drop them at the comment section and I'll attend to it. And if you've watched to this point, please do subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.